Chris McLoone here with Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment. Welcome to this episode of our podcast. We're going to be talking to Snap-tite again today. As you might recall, a few months ago, actually, we spoke with Snap-tite more so along the lines of a backgrounder on the company. There had been a number of changes that had taken place during 2024. So we talked a lot about that. Today, we're going to get a little bit more into the manufacturing end of Snap-tite and some of the things that Snap-tite has done to ensure not only the quality of the manufacturing, but also the quality of the end product and what that means to us as the ultimate purchasers of fire hose. With me today is Brian Carson. He is the Director of Quality Assurance at Snap-tite. And Brian, thank you for taking a little bit of time here out with me today. What we're going to be talking about a lot today is ISO 9001 2015. So to get us started, talk about what that is and talk about, what that means for Snap-tite.
Sure, Chris. Thank you. I appreciate taking the time to meet with me also. ISO 9001 2015 is an international standard for quality management systems. It outlines a framework for organizations such as Snap-tite to ensure that they consistently meet customer requirements. We enhance satisfaction for our customers. We measure that customer satisfaction, and our goal is to continually improve our processes. In ISO, it does provide a set of criteria for organizations to follow, manage, and improve on their quality control processes. Basically, it's in a nutshell, it's a gold standard for quality management systems.
With that being said, how does that make Snap-tite different in terms of its manufacturing processes, and why?
Yeah, well, as part of the Snap-tite experience with our ISO drive, I mean, all aspects of our manufacturing, raw materials, quality, it revolves around ISO. And there's seven key quality management principles that we as an organization follow. We have our customer focus, as I touched on a little bit earlier with the customer satisfaction. We strive to enhance the organization's view of customer satisfaction. We want to make sure we exceed their expectations. And in doing so, that's every as I mentioned, every aspect, right from the receiving department where we're bringing in raw materials to the shipping department when that's going out the door. So
we mentioned quality, and you've mentioned, going out the door. Talk a little bit about some of the quality testing and the high standards that every length of hose that goes out of Snap-tite has to meet before leaving your facilities.
Absolutely. As part of ISO too, and we don't just focus on the manufacturing processes, but it also emphasizes the need for regular testing, as you mentioned, inspection, to ensure that each hose meets the required performance standards. In cases of fire hose, testing is critical, as you can imagine. We want to make sure that the hoses can withstand the extreme pressures that the firefighter is going to put these hoses under. You're going to have some of these attack lines that are going into buildings that'll be 300-400 pounds per square inch of water pressure going through there. So we want to make sure that hose, the integrity of that hose, can withstand those pressures. And there's environmental conditions that these hoses go into. They're being dragged and carried into some of the worst situations on Earth. If you think about it, it's just, they have to really be able to withstand those conditions. So we do pressure testing, and Snap-tite hose manufactures the hose to a 3-to-1 safety ratio. So what that means is if we have a 400 psi hose that firefighter is using, we manufactured that to a 1200 burst rating. So that means that we're going to ensure that hose is not going to be compromised when the firefighter is using our product. We also test abrasion testing. As I mentioned, these hoses are being drugged through some of the most severe conditions: broken glass, hot metal, shards, embers, and we need to make sure that the outside of the hose, whether it is a rubber, polyurethane, or a jacketed polyester type hose, that it can withstand and resist the wear. We also need to make sure that our hose is kink resistant. So we test for kink and flow. So, I mean, think about it. When a firefighter is going into an apartment building, for instance, and they're going up and down stairs, down hallways, into bedrooms, they need to make sure, or we do need to make sure that hose is able to deliver water consistently to them. We can't have them going around a doorway or up a stairwell and that hose kinks. Obviously, if that hose kinks, the firefighter would lose water pressure and lives and property become endangered. So that is a huge point of focus for us. Also, hydrostatic testing. As part of our ISO processes, we 100% hydrostatically test all of our hoses going out the door. So we make sure we will take those hoses to twice the service pressure, or that pressure that I mentioned, say, for instance, 400 PSI. We're going to take that hose to 800 PSI. We're going to inspect that hose safely for our employees to make sure that the hose is not leaking. There's no coupling slippage. There's no defects whatsoever before that hose would ever be put in a box and shipped to the customer. And we also provide our customer test certificates. So they have proof that this hose has been tested and has reached these pressures. And we follow NFPA guidelines and standards for all of our testing. So that's NFPA 1960, referencing 1961. So, and just maybe to elaborate a little bit more, that's some of the manufacturing testing that we do. But it doesn't all that's some of the later testing. We start with our raw materials. I mean, we can't make a good product and ensure that it's going to be a great product going out the door until we check our raw materials. So we begin with our raw materials. Our raw material suppliers go through rigorous and extensive testing. We actually go out and visit them and make sure that their manufacturing facility meets our standards, meets ISO standards. We check their quality management system to ensure they have a quality management in place that meets our criteria. We do not just take any, for instance, rubber or polyurethane manufacturer. We don't just take anybody that does it. Absolutely not. I mean, they have to meet our standards and ISO standards. And in most cases, we require them to also be ISO 9001 certified. So, and for example, even when the materials come in the door, and we know that vendor has gone through the rigorous approval process, we also test. I mean, we trust, but we verify. As an example, we get in our batches of rubber that come in the door, we may have 100 batches that come in at one time. We've just, in part of our continuous improvement, upgraded a piece of equipment in our lab, rheometer testing for the rubber, to test every single batch of rubber that's coming in the door. So again, we trust but verify. So I mean, these tests are what it ensures that each fire hose meets the highest standards of safety and performance. And this continuous improvement cycle that we go through with ISO, embedded in our ISO, ensures that the manufacturing and testing methods are always evolving. We're always trying to meet or exceed customer needs and expectations and any regulatory expectations that go along with the fire hose industry.
Well, I think what's interesting there, and you've mentioned it several times, is that what ISO 9001 is doing is providing you with a means for continual improvement, continual self-improvement. Now, when you're doing that, that obviously represents a pretty significant investment. And just to get to where you are now with this certification, that took a pretty decent investment. With that, you're always going to want to see a return on that investment. So, and I'm sure that you have things in place to measure, that return. So what are some of the measurable benefits that you've seen since you have become certified to ISO 9001 2015?
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, our quality, our improved quality, we measure that weekly. We have weekly scrap meetings. We emphasize the importance of consistency and that continual improvement to, again, enhance customer satisfaction. And that improvement encourages innovation. That continuous improvement encourages innovation. And what it does, it not only helps with the products that we develop, but with our workforce, engagement of all of our employees. So they're all focused. They all realize the importance of this product and the importance of our ISO 9001 certification. And employee, the motivation and caring, I mean, it really is seen if you walk out on our plant floors and to see the attention to detail that goes into each manufacturing process here. So that is, it sets us apart. ISO 9001 sets us apart. We are the only lay flat hose manufacturer in North America that has achieved this standard. It's not easy. The certification, there's a lot of work that goes involved with that, and that's probably why not everybody has that certification. So
we've talked a lot today so far about ISO 9001 2015's importance to Snap-tite. But there also needs to be, a value to the purchaser. So absolutely. Why is purchasing from an ISO 9001 2015 certified manufacturer important to and for the purchaser?
Okay. Yeah. When the ISO certification, it signifies to our customers that us as a manufacturer adheres to internationally recognized standards. It's not just something in Pennsylvania where we're located or in the United States. It's internationally recognized, these standards. So they gives them, confidence that this product is going to be good, that they can trust it. ISO 9001 ensures the manufacturing process is controlled. So, and again, they're going to receive high quality products every time, not just the first delivery, but the last delivery or the ongoing deliveries. ISO, it lets them know that their products that they're purchasing go through rigorous testing and inspections, and customer satisfaction is measured by us. And when I say, like we do our internal testing and inspections, but we have an ISO auditor also comes to our facility and inspects us. They make sure we're doing what we say we're doing, and that we are following, that we follow NFPA. So they also kind of reinforce that because they're making sure we're following all of our processes. So that gives that customer an added sense of security and trust that their product is going to perform for their firefighters in their community.
Well,
And
again, Brian. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and in that when we have an ISO auditor come in, it's not just for an hour, it's not just for an afternoon. Our last audit was 5 days, so they really look to see and make sure that we're doing what we say we're doing, and we're following the gold standard of quality management systems.
Well, again, Brian, my thanks to you today for sitting down with me to talk about this for just a few minutes. Because when we talk about the products that we buy as fire departments, as firefighters, knowing the processes and the standards that they meet even during the manufacturing process is critically important. So thank you for giving us the backgrounder on ISO 9001:2015, as well as what it means to Snap-tite and its products. Brian, if anyone has any needs more information on Snap-tite products, how can they reach you guys?
Oh, they can go. Go online to our website www.snaptitehose.com, and there you'll have all the contact information to any sales representative in their area. Our customer service is here. They answer the phones. You speak to a live person, and get that information. And they're all of our staff, right from engineering, myself, are willing to answer any questions. They'll transfer us to us, and we're there to support our customers.
All right, perfect. Well, again, this has been Chris McLoone with Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment, sitting down today with Brian Carson from Snap-tite Hose. Brian, I want to thank you again for sitting down with me today. Critical information that everyone needs to know. So again, as Brian said, you can go to their website to get more information, and you can connect with any number of different departments there to get the information you need. So again, my thanks to Brian. This has been Chris McLoone with Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment. Have a good one and stay safe. Thanks again, Brian.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.